The Incredibles, still the best Fantastic Four movie for 11 years and counting. The Incredibles is Pixar's sixth film, and what many people consider to be one of their top three best, besides the Toy Story films and another movie that we'll get to within weeks. So The Incredibles follows Bob Parr, who was once the great superhero Mr. Incredible. He saved the day, he was one of many heroes that occupied the world, but then due to some incidents between his actions and the actions of other supers around the world, all the supers have been forced into hiding. So he's married this woman named Helen, who was once the super Elastigirl. And together they have three kids with special abilities. Dash, who can run really fast. Violet, who can make force fields and turn invisible. And little baby Jack, whose powers are yet to be determined. So basically he's settled down, he has a great family, but he misses the glory days and wish he could just go out there and be Mr. Incredible again. But an offer presents itself that gives him the opportunity to relive the glory days and become Mr. Incredible once again. But unfortunately, this job leads to something a little more sinister that puts not only Mr. Incredible, but his entire family at risk. So The Incredibles has been quoted as being the best Fantastic Four made, especially after that abomination of film has shown its ugly head last week, because it deals with a team of superheroes that are a family, quite literally, and it is a really amazing movie. Like Pixar's other movies, the animation is spectacular, but it's also very different. It has a very different style than the movies of Toy Story, Bugs Life, Monsters, Inc., and Finding Nemo, mainly because Brad Bird, the director and writer of this, was the first director that didn't work at Pixar. He was a friend of John Lasseter's because the two of them went to Cal Arts, and he was basically hired in, and he brought his entire animation team from the Iron Giant, which they are not familiar with computers, so they worked at bringing this computer animated film to life, and it's absolutely amazing. And because it's an animated superhero movie, you get a lot of fantastic action scenes that they're exciting, they're really well thought out and well done. You're always on the edge of your seat, and not just because it's cool, but because you care about the characters. All of these characters are memorable and obviously likable, and I love how, like Finding Nemo, the message of the movie is once again geared towards adults. Bob, or Mr. Incredible, is having his midlife crisis because he misses the glory days of being a superhero before everyone went into hiding and before he had a family. So the fact that he's trying to cope with this midlife crisis, it can lead to some very dramatic scenes. And he ultimately finds out in the end that the best thing that's happened to him is not the days of being a superhero, but rather his family, even though they all become superheroes in the end. All the voice actors do a fantastic job. And back to the characters, probably the most memorable is Edna Mode, who is voiced by writer-director Brad Bird, and is based off legendary costume designer Edith Head. Edna Mode is basically the person who designed all the costumes for all the superheroes, and she is really funny. She's absolutely hilarious, and one of those Pixar characters that's a sidekick character, or not sidekick, that's a wrong choice of word, a side character, and yet she probably sticks out more than most of the main characters. And I love that this movie also incorporates the spy subgenre. It just makes the movie feel a little more cool and adds a sense of sexiness to it, outside of Elastigirl's obviously giant ass. And one of the factors that helps with this spy subgenre is the score by Michael Giacchino. Not only is it well suited for a superhero movie, but it also fits very well for a spy movie. So much so that the original composer that Brad Bird wanted was John Barry, who'd done the original James Bond movies when Sean Connery was in the role. But John Barry refused because he didn't want to repeat what he did in James Bond. So I'm kind of glad John Barry said no, because if it wasn't for Brad Bird hiring Michael Giacchino, he would not be the great composer that he is today, with scores like Up, Inside Out, Jurassic World, Ratatouille, just a ton of fabulous scores ever since he started composing for films. I've tried to think of anything that might have been wrong with the movie or that didn't work, and I honestly can't think of one. I mean, the voice acting spectacular from people like Craig T. Nelson, Holly Hunter, Samuel L. Jackson, Jason Lee as the villain Syndrome. It's got a fantastic script blending comedy, drama, action, and heartfelt emotion into it. And I love how the script also doesn't really parody, but addresses a lot of the cliches you see in not just superhero movies, but action movies, like the supervillain's monologue. And, I mean, it is just a really, really great movie. It's one of my favorite superhero movies of all time, and one of my favorite Pixar movies of all time, obviously. So if you haven't seen it, and I don't know how anyone has not seen The Incredibles, but if you haven't seen it, just get off your ass and go see it right now, especially if you are in the mood for a good Fantastic Four movie that's not a Fantastic Four movie, and you know, it even passes as a good Watchmen movie in a way. So yeah, just if you haven't seen The Incredibles, or hell, even if you have seen it, get off your ass and go watch it right now because it is that good. One might as well say that it is incredible. Yeah! I apologize for that, but I was like trying so hard not to use the word incredible when describing The Incredibles that at the end I just had no choice, and I'm lucky that I mysteriously had a pair of sunglasses next to me. But anyway, that's my review for The Incredibles. Leave a comment and tell me what you thought of the movie. If you've seen it, what did you think? Like, subscribe, share me with your friends. Go check out therealmrrobinson.com, my brand new website if you haven't. And this is The Real Mr. Robinson telling you there is only one.